it's me again, Miss Shayla, the Dorky Reader, and today's book video, which I'm a little late to, is my January reading wrap-up. And I started off the month finishing up a book from my December TBR, so that took a few days off of my reading time. Then I picked up a book that I will tell you about that I read most of, but DNF'd, so I don't count that as a book read either, and that was a lot. Then I picked up another book, and this book was huge. It's like the size of 2 books, so it took me about 2 books worth of time to finish. And then I tried another book, and I DNF'd it, but I didn't really try it that hard. I just kind of skimmed through because I had an idea of it, and it was just what I thought it was going to be. And then I read my second book fully. So I only really read 2 books off the 9-book list completely. However, I do have some input or thoughts on about 4 of them. And I did read, like I said, I finished the Shadow of the Fox trilogy at the beginning of the month in January. So there's that. This month has been going a lot better, I will say. My current TBR is doing pretty good. It's not great, but it's like average. So I should be doing all right. So I'm just going to start. I'm going to start with the books that I definitely DNF'd, both of them, and I will be donating them. And that is Little Fire by Holly Manns and Neon Gods by Katie Robert. For Neon Gods, I honestly didn't read as much of this book as the other. I just kind of started at the beginning a little bit, noticed that I wasn't really enjoying the writing style. Not to offend anyone who loves this book, I personally know someone who really loved this book. But for me, it wasn't for me. So I decided to kind of skim through a little, which I don't usually do, but I had a feeling. And every time I opened the page, it would end up on a spice scene. So if you're into really, really spicy books, I would recommend this one. This one has tons of that in there. I will say it's a little bit on the darker side. So if you're into dark spice, this might be for you. It just wasn't for me. So I'm going to put that down and unhaul it. I also have Little Fire by Holly Manns, and I will say I read a significant portion of this book. Like over half of it for sure was read. The very first part of this book was actually pretty good. I really enjoyed the writing style. She's an excellent writer. The atmosphere was really great. I liked the monsters and creatures I saw. I liked the world building she had put out there. I was having a good time. However, I will say as the story progressed, it lost a lot of that kind of plot-driven, world-building, whatever was in the first half of this book, and kind of derailed into a bit of a really cringy romance that didn't fit for me. Again, insta-lusty kind of stuff that just is not my style of romance. And then as it went on, the relationship became a little toxic, I thought. And I was just like, I'm not going to waste any more time with this because I know where it's going. However, I will say that this kind of book, I think a lot of you readers or readers of romantasy would love it. Like it's right up their alley. It's just not personally my style. So I would recommend this book to people interested in a romantasy. I just don't think I'm that kind of person. So I'm going to put Little Fire in a little library and hope that someone enjoys reading it. Okay, from there I have the 2 books that are currently on my current TBR for February. And I won't tell you which one, but I did end up reading one of these 2 already, and it was excellent. So there's that, and I'll tell you more about it next month's wrap-up. Okay, so then now I've got 5 books left, and I'm going to do Reaper at the Gates, Book 3 in the Ember of the Ashes. I did not read this book. I think it's kind of a shame, honestly, because last year in January, I had read the 2nd book in this series, and it was fantastic, and I'm sad and mad at myself that a whole year later, I haven't continued with the series, even though I own it. So I don't really have much of an excuse. Next time I put it on my TBR, I need to make this a priority so I can get through it, because I know the first 2 books in the series were absolutely amazing. Next on my list, I have Book 3 on the Murderbot Diaries, and this book was so much fun. It was a really short book, which I really needed in January because I was apparently just overwhelmed. I will say, I still think Book 2 was my favorite so far. But this one was also really good. There was some really great action sequences in this book that was really fun to read. And I know that he ends up kind of on this, like this very remote, I don't know if it's a mining station or where were they? Some kind of really remote place out in space. There's not a lot of people there, but he's not alone. There is a small crew of people there to also investigate some things for the Grey Chris Corporation, or I'm not sure who. And they have their own little security officers there with them, and they explore this place, and some shenanigans happen, and of course Murderbot saves the day, as he usually does. It was really good. I really enjoyed the opening where he's like on this ship on the way to this location. I thought that part was hilarious. I think most people who read this will enjoy that too. So anyway, it was really, really good. I would give it 4 out of 5 stars. I'm having a really good time with this series. Okay, next on my list is The 13th Child by Aaron A. Craig. I did not read this book this month at all, so I have nothing to say. But I am kind of mad because it was my book of the month, or one of my 2 book of the months, and I didn't read it. And I also didn't read this one, which is Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. And because this is like a holiday-themed romance, I feel like I should have read it, because now I don't want to read it until like next holiday season, which is such a long time away. But I guess that's okay. I have books for every occasion on my shelves right now, so that's all right. I will say, if I had this on my reading list this month, I probably would have read it too, because I was actually in the mood this month for a romance, like a contemporary romance randomly. I think because of Valentine's Day. And I didn't have any of that on my TBR, so I didn't get that fulfilled for me, I guess. So I've got Good Spirits by B.K. Borison, also not read. And the last but not least, by a long shot, I have The Will of the Many by James Islington. This book is huge. It's a chunk. And it took me twice as long as a normal book to read, I think. But I will say, I really loved it. It was an excellent, outstanding 5-star read. I can definitely see why people put this on the top of their list for fantasies of the year last year when they read it, because it's really amazing. It does have elements that feel very Roman. It's also, I have to say, I know it's classified as a fantasy, and it kind of is, but it does feel more sci-fi. And I think people who read this book will agree with that sentiment. It has an excellent overall journey, a great plot, great side characters, some very like frightening parts. Like for me, my heart was racing. There's definitely some great action. And it has an amazing ending, which really, I think, like when you read it all the way through, you're like, whoa, you kind of don't know where it's going. I enjoyed the ending. I feel like the setup for book 2 is going to be very interesting, very different. I'm curious to see how that goes and how that's played out. I have book 2 on my shelf waiting for me, so maybe next month I'll get around to reading it. It is a really heavy read though, so we'll see, but it was really good. Definitely recommend The Will of the Many. And that is it. That's all for my reading wrap up. Usually these videos are a little shorter than my TBR jar pulls, obviously. So, but I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope you had a great reading month yourself. See you next time.